Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the GS Scumbags are back. We're without Tyler this week. Again, just a matter of, schedules didn't align. With
Basketball.
yeah, with his schedule, it's hard to find time and know when he's going to be available and when all the three of us are going to be available. So, Noah and I are going to be taking the one this week. And brother, what a week it has been.
It's been a fun one, you know. It's been an active week to be a participant in the group chats. You know, there's been plenty to discuss. And also just real quick to all scumbag fans out there, hopefully sometime this weekend, Tyler and myself are going to be recording a college football playoff podcast. It's going to be strictly no Duke involved with that. It's kind of going to be just our takes on the playoff, kind of trying to reach out to different audience members because we have a lot that follow the page from different teams. So, you know, be on the lookout for that, show some love to it too. But of course, you know, we're here to dive in and break down what's been going on. And I think the best way to start with that is what happened on Selection Sunday, the waiting, the anticipation, thinking we were going from the Gator Bowl to the Holiday Bowl to the Sun Bowl to the Holiday Bowl, and then everybody was dead set on Holiday Bowl, and then we got Gator Bowl. So it's like that's a win right there. January football.
Dear God. Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, has there ever been a week in Duke football history that's like as insane and like filled with news and action as this week has been? Not even just this week, like those 72 hours between like Monday or Sunday and Wednesday. Like, my God, Gator Bowl, huge. Maalik Murphy, $1 million quarterback, enters a portal, huge. Grayson Loftis, G5 quarterback, enters a portal, huge. We score Darian Mensah, huge. And then
Huge
there's
S.
possible, yeah, the
Huge
huge
S.
is. And then there's possible news that we might lock down Horatio Fields from Wake Forest.
Yeah.
I
And we're
mean,
also like the front runners for one of the top cornerback transfers from Michigan State in the country. That just broke like 3 minutes ago. So
yeah, he's buddies with Chandler Rivers, I believe, right?
that's a different guy. He's from Sam Houston State, but he's also a dog. We got him locked. I don't
Yeah,
see.
that's
I don't
insane.
even know if he's taking another visit besides his Duke visit.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Gator Bowl, you know,
let's start with that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna start here. Lane Kiffin, you're a jackass. You know, I can't
Huge.
wait. You're a piece of shit. No wonder everybody at Tennessee and USC wanted to run you out of their programs. Ole Miss is just too dumb to do it. Um, you know, I'm not impressed by some of Lane's actions, but you know, I hope we just kind of settle it on the field with our savior Henry Bellin.
Oof. King Henry.
January football, never before in our lives,
Never.
and never, ever. I mean, first time. You can't tell us to act like we've been here before because we haven't. So, I mean, that's pretty cool in itself. Location, Jacksonville. That's great. The date, Thursday, standalone game, the day after New Year's Day. There's going to be no other games on that day. You know, that's big for Duke. 7:30 kick on ESPN. Like, you get some eyeballs on that game.
Brother, the
So,
last time Duke football played a game in January was the Cotton Bowl in 1961, January 2nd.
God.
My dad wasn't alive yet. My mom wasn't
Yeah,
alive yet.
I think
I mean,
my grandparents were probably like in their tens, you know, around then.
yeah, Duke won 7-6 in front of 74,000 people, which I don't know if Duke has ever played in front of that many people, ever,
That's so sad.
outside of that. But man, yeah, I mean, the Gator Bowl, like we were calling it for weeks leading up to this on the pod, like just following projections from Brett McMurphy. And like it was, I think there was some talk way early on of maybe the Mayo Bowl, possibly the Pop Tart Bowl. But like as it got closer and closer to Selection Sunday, it was looking like Gator Bowl was a lock. And then panic started setting in because we started seeing projections of what was it, Duke versus Washington?
Wazoo, yeah, Washington
Wazoo
State.
and the Holiday Bowl in San Diego, San Diego. We were freaking out. I mean, it
The
just doesn't
group
make
chat fell
sense.
apart.
It fell
It
apart.
was just like the Northwestern game. If like you couldn't find a shred of hope from anybody, we were all trying to figure it out. We were like, why would Like there's no alumni base in
None,
California. Like
none.
our alumni base is East Coast, North, and
It's New
mostly
York and
Northeast.
Florida and a little bit in the Triangle. That's it.
If you're not gonna pick Florida for us, you should have sent us to the Pinstripe Bowl. If you're looking for sheer numbers of like fans
Yeah,
in
ticket
that
sales.
perspective, but like
Yeah.
San Diego just made no sense. So then, as everybody that's probably viewing this saw, our army, so to say, of scumbags just tweeted at the Holiday Bowl
We don't
like,
want you.
"Do not pick us. Do not pick Duke. We're not coming. Do not pick Duke." I mean, it was ruthless stuff. And seems like it kind of worked some. So that's a huge positive. Syracuse, hey, I hate it for you, but have fun in old San Diego. So
That's their reward for knocking off Miami and getting Clemson into the playoff is they get rewarded with getting banished to San Diego.
against like a
Oof.
6-6 Wazoo team.
Oof. Well, you know what
Oof.
I'm speaking of banished, you know what I thought about this morning and I told my girlfriend, I was like, wait a second. Georgia Tech was kind of a solid team all year. They beat us. They took Georgia to 8 overtimes. Like they won some good games. And what happens? They get banished to the Birmingham Bowl against Vanderbilt.
Dude, but I think the Birmingham Bowl's got some aura to it this year.
It finally means something. Duke
When
paved the way. Duke paved
Duke
the
paved
way.
the way. They saw that shit fest last year and were like, we cannot have another ACC versus Sun Belt team. Like it has to be
No,
SEC, ACC.
we got to take things seriously.
They saw 6,000 fans from both schools show up and they were like, this ain't gonna work.
Yeah, they saw Grayson Loftis go like 10 for 30 with like 120 yards and a pick, and they're like, yeah, this can't happen again.
Don't worry, dude. People believe that that was going to be our starter this year, a guy that couldn't even
Yeah,
torch Troy
and we'll
or
get in
Virginia.
and we'll get into that.
Oh, we got
Uh,
plenty to say about that. We're airing it out today, folks.
so yeah, we also side note, I don't know if I've ever been this excited about recording one of these pods. Like I'm
Oh,
trembling with excitement.
I mean, we're
Uh,
going to be able to get this out like pretty soon too. So like, I mean, it's going to rage. I have a good feeling about this one.
yeah. So anyway, Gator Bowl. I mean, again, we're
Catch
excited.
us there.
Yeah, catch us there. We'll be there. As I tweeted earlier this week, Airbnb booked, PTO submitted, pants off, tickets bought. Like
Bags
my
packed,
outfit is
baby.
bought, bags packed. I mean, we're ready to roll. We've all got our
Uh,
reservations.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody also make sure you're staying tuned on the Scumbags page when that comes up. I'm sure we're gonna have another recording beforehand, but just to reiterate, we're gonna be vlogging a lot of stuff because the sheer number of our group that's going, I mean, it's damn near everybody except Tyler. So we're gonna have a lot of content, letting people know what bars we're gonna be at, dinner ideas, meetups, things like that. So we're going to make the most of it. It's a fun time of year to be in Florida. New Year's Eve, you couldn't ask for a better warm weather destination to go to. So we're really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing all of you guys.
Definitely, definitely. Like we've been saying all week, the Red Roof Inn Plus on Lenore Ave in Jacksonville ain't ready for us.
We're going to rent a room for one night.
Oh God. Oh my God. But yeah, no, we're stoked. I mean, I haven't watched a whole lot of Ole Miss this season. I don't know if that's important. Obviously, it's going to be a uphill battle for Duke, no matter who's starting at quarterback, and who's playing, who's opting out, regardless. Like you mentioned earlier, Lane Kiffin is a shithead, just being a real juvenile actions on the timeline this week. But I would expect nothing less.
From a like an alcoholic loser that dates 18-year-olds.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect anything
Lane.
else.
Lane. But I mean, their team wise, though, I mean, we could get into their team a little bit here. Their defensive line is the best in the country. Like, I mean, they're solid. This will be a big test for some of the offensive linemen we know will be coming back next year and should be impact starters. Parker, guys like Fina, we need to see some positives out of the offensive line play, or else maybe the portal is going to be where Duke has to make some more big splashes. Um, Offensively, they're really not all that impressive. I know if everybody follows our media guy, Crimroy, he posted some stats. They're towards the bottom in a lot of important metrics, and so is Duke. Let's not say we're not. We are. We're at the bottom
We're
with them.
supposed to be. They're not.
Yeah,
That's the
but
thing.
Ole Miss is not. Ole Miss does not belong at like the 107 spot. That's like where Duke calls home. So That's a positive. As good as Duke's defense is at creating turnovers and just wreaking havoc on bad offenses, this game could get interesting. I think the spread is only that way because of the quarterback situation. I know it started at 12 and a half. I think it's already to 14. But I think if everybody kind of stayed the same until after bowl season, the spread could have worked its way down to 10 and a half, 11. So it'll be a good game. I know we're looking forward to getting to watch Duke versus the SEC in a meaningful game for sure.
Yeah, and let's see. So we're gonna speak of the quarterback situation. We'll start at a timeline chronological order. Sunday, highest of highs, elated. It was a beautiful day. We're so happy. We rode that wave into Monday, throughout Monday, Monday evening around
10
10
15
o'clock,
p.m. It was
10:30.
late.
Get a text from my buddy Duke Global Zone, Maalik to the portal, and I was like, what? So I checked Twitter. There it is. First tweet of my timeline from On3. Duke quarterback Maalik Murphy and says that he's entering the transfer portal. Gut punch. We were pretty bummed, pretty disappointed to hear that. Not only disappointed, but a little bit surprised because according to some, we all signs are pointing that Duke would retain Murphy and he'd be back next year. Sources that we're close to said that he had just signed his lease for his apartment for the next year. So he
Mhm.
was intending to stay, and he had been posting on his story about his new custom Duke cleats. Like,
Absolutely. That's a gut punch right there for sure. I'm glad you brought that up.
yeah, what are your thoughts, Noah, on this whole situation with Maalik?
Well, our first reaction, like you said, everybody was like, "What the fuck?" It's
Yeah,
like, how did like this is not what we've heard. This is not the vibe we have heard. Malik's not the biggest locker room guy in the world. Some guys just aren't social butterfly locker room guys that are going to pick everybody up. There's probably 20 other dudes in that Duke locker room. They're the same way, and that's you got to have guys like that. Other than that, you never really heard anything that was like super negative or like foreshadowing that he wasn't happy in Durham or enjoying his time in Durham. And when we saw that, I think instant reaction was like, "Damn, we got hosed." He wanted to stepping stone us, and then
yeah,
as the next following day went on, and we started to learn a little bit more, I think that opinion really changed throughout our group at least,
yeah,
that the situation wasn't what it showed at first, and that Maalik really did have every intention of staying at Duke and trying to go build something great next year. I think he
yeah.
was sold on the program and was bought in.
Agreed. Yeah, he was bought into the culture. I mean, and from every sign, it's an interesting thing because, like you said, like yeah, some sources that we're close to, who are in close to the program, say he's probably got some maturing to do. He's not the biggest locker room guy, but on the outside, you would never know that he was doing typical teammate stuff on social media. Lifting his guys up, shouting out his offensive line on social media, shouting out the defense, his wide receivers, his running backs. Posting about those guys, hanging out with those guys. It seemed like he was all in on Duke, and it was just a shame. We're gonna miss him a lot, big time. But then I was like, okay, well, something has to be up. That's not the vibe he was giving us. So started, working the phone, so to speak. We started digging around, asking people. It was never stated in black and white directly from anyone, but from what we've gleaned from, message boards, some of our friends who are closer to the program, from our understanding, if you read between the lines, it looks like what happened was Maalik himself had every intention of staying. The program did not have the same thing in mind. Basically, from our understanding, the program told him, hey, we're not willing to pay you as much money to stay here as we did to bring you on. He was given upwards of $1 million to come to Duke and play that one season. They basically said, hey, we're not looking to, give you that much money again. We're also going to be quarterback shopping the portal. So it's probably in your best interest if you hit the portal. Basically, invited to leave.
Ultimatum. It's like, hey, you can either take a couple 100,000 less and then go compete for a starting job against a guy we're not going to give you any promises that you'll win it against. And, that's that in today's landscape of college football, that's giving somebody, hey, man, we like you, but in both sides' best interest, maybe do this. And
Yeah,
he's
between
touring
a
at Auburn. He's touring at Miami. He's definitely going to have some other big name schools that are looking for a 1 year guy and he's looking for an NFL boost. And like you said, where there's certain guys we haven't spoken fondly about, and we're going to get into that more even in this episode. But Maalik's one of those guys that he came to Duke with the right intentions. He bought into the program. I think he gave his all. A lot of people are like, oh, he wasn't mobile, and oh, thank God. And like, yeah, we all know he wasn't a mobile quarterback, but you can't watch this last season, see Duke's 9-3 record, even with how good the defense was, see all the game-winning drives, the overtime wins, the come from behind wins, and not be appreciative of what Maalik Murphy did and,
Correct.
breaking touchdown records.
Correct.
Now, once we found all that out, it was kind of a consensus agreement that, like, man, because all of us enjoyed Murphy and liked him so much and was really loving watching him play in person. It was cool to have a guy like that finally. And then we find out Darian Mensah, who also went in the portal the same day as Murphy, already had a visit to Duke, not even just lined up. He was in Durham
That
for
was
the
like
visit.
Monday or Tuesday, right?
So, we're not claiming nothing, but we're claiming something here. Duke
Tamper
had a
you.
little tamper. Oh my gosh. Finally.
It's like the scene from High School Musical when he gives her the necklace and she's like, "Oh my God, T for Troy."
It's like,
Nah, baby, it's T for
it's
Tamper.
T for tamper, baby. Duke, Duke, motherfucker.
Oh my God, we're finally up. We're finally playing on the same level as everybody else.
We've had it done to us so much. We were like, it's time.
Yeah.
It's
It's like I got
time.
I got news for all the Duke fans who want to be like, "Oh, we this that's not the Duke way." Hey, I got news for you.
We don't care
All
no
those great
more.
recruits that Krzyzewski got throughout the years on the basketball team. We got news for you. Um,
Them boys were getting millions to go play for Coach K. I don't even care.
they were funneling it for the Coach K Foundation,
Yeah, for his daughters, like
the Emily
homeless
K. Yeah.
Emily K Center in Durham off Duke Street.
Oh dear God. Oh man.
Oh,
So yeah, uh,
so
Maalik,
Mensa,
Malik, we love you. We'll miss
yeah,
you. We
Malik,
wish you nothing
absolutely.
but the best.
Gonna
And I
watch you
know
next year. Hopefully, it's anywhere but Miami.
I'm still gonna watch. I'm still gonna wear the jersey from time to time.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a legendary Duke jersey for a long time.
Yeah,
He didn't rub us the wrong way. He
not at
didn't do
all.
anything but win us 9 football games and get us to the Gator Bowl,
And
which is the
break
best
the
thing
single
that's ever
season
happened to
TD
us.
record at Duke. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and
his
and
name's in a record book.
and the thing is, I'm completely blanking. Fuck. Oh yeah, people might be wondering, hey, that's weird. You guys have shot on other people who have transferred out of Duke before. Why are you picking and choosing? Again,
When
Malik was pretty much forced out.
yeah,
Guys, like the dude in South Bend, the dude up in Blacksburg, the dude in Raleigh, they all played, they did some time here. They left, but they left on their own free will because they were bag chasing or wanted a Camaro, whatever the case is. I
V6 used cop car, baby, the
I
Jordan Water Special.
I can't objectively speaking, I can't say I blame them. There's nothing I can really say. However, bottom line is they left by choice. Maalik didn't. That's all. So yeah, Darian Mensah, whoo, news broke on Tuesday that he had a scheduled visit. He was on campus. He toured. He was in the locker room. He was on the field. He was in Wally Wade. He was all up in Wally Wade. He went to the Duke basketball game that night against the high school team they were playing.
Incarnate Word. Hey, we got to give some respect to the boys down there in San Antonio. Oh, Incarnate Word. That's a scumbag football program. Like their FCS football shit is crazy. Like they've had some great years.
Yeah.
Fun football team.
So yeah, he was there. He was sitting with the crazies. We were like, this is pretty much a lock. We started getting some early reports from our buddies who were close to the program that yeah, it's looking more and more
He
like
wasn't leaving.
he came to visit Durham and he ain't leaving Durham.
Yeah, he's signing a paper before he heads out.
Yeah, and so that news broke what on Tuesday or late
Uh,
Tuesday, early Wednesday.
Something like that. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday it broke. I think he
Uh, yeah. So
number one portal quarterback. Let's go ahead and get that out of the
number
way.
one portal quarterback
Name
is a
any
Blue
time in
Devil.
your life you would think Duke would have the number one anything in football. Not this guy.
Like the number one like worst offense
We have
maybe at
like
some point.
the number one walk on long snapper.
Yeah, the
You know,
first P4 team to lose to VMI.
Oh man. Well, don't forget we gifted Charlotte a nice
Oh
FBS
dear
victory
God.
too. We gifted them their first and only Power Four victory.
Oh dear God. That was the last nail in Cutcliffe's coffin for sure.
That buried me as a person.
I just like you said, the message boards in 2021 were crazy.
Right, 247 so much fun now, but at the end of the Cutcliffe tenure, it was the funniest fucking place in the world.
It's like even like our most like neutral, like relaxed, chilled out, patient fans were at the end, like their wits end by that time. They're like,
You
yeah,
had like the Doug Browns of the world in there like threatening like self-harm, type shit.
oh dude, I'm pulling my $35 a month to the Iron Dukes. This is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous, Cutcliffe.
Oh my God. But yeah, anyway, number one portal QB committed to Duke. It's official. He's a Blue Devil. You look at his stats, they're somewhat similar to Maalik in terms of like close to 3,000 passing yards, upper 20s in passing touchdowns. There's two things that stand out when you look at those stats, though. I did some digging this morning and I'll pull those up real quick. Some of the differences between Darian and Maalik are that Darian's QBR is 76.5, which is 20th in the nation. Maalik's is 56, which is 71st in the nation. Not that that's the only important
Metric,
stat, but
yeah,
that's up there.
absolutely.
That's a difference. And
Yeah.
also, Darian's going to fit in significantly better with Brewers offense. I mean, say what you want, but Maalik, as good a quarterback as he is, in some he did have some, shortcomings. We'll just say that
Oh yeah.
we're not idiots.
We've said
We're
that for
not idiots.
months.
Yeah. But the difference is he just didn't fit in well with Brewer's system. I think Darian is going to fit in much better, so we should see some more explosive plays and some better play calling next year.
Now, Jonathan Brewer, here's one thing. If you hear me right now, Jonathan Brewer, if you fucking suck next year with a guy who you guys have publicly said fits the system, I'm losing it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start wearing paper bags. Even if we're 11-1, I will have a paper bag on my head.
correct.
I'm not doing this bottom tier offense thing every year. I cannot go back to the Zach Asack days. I do not want to go back to Ted Roof. I'm tired of that. I don't want it.
We've had enough.
I don't want a Gunnar Holmberg offense ever trotting out on the field again. So
And that's the thing is like the news out of the program is basically like with Maalik and Brewer is like either Maalik's gone or Brewer's gone. Manning wasn't going to have his quarterback making his offensive coordinator hire look bad anymore, so they ousted Maalik. This 2025 is going to be Brewer's chance. All right, Brewer, if it was truly Maalik holding you back, this is your chance to prove
yeah,
it.
you better
This is
show
your
me
chance.
something.
Yeah, or else he's gonna get the can. So
Because
yeah,
just imagine how much worse it would have been this year if our offensive line was as bad as everybody anticipated. Like, shout out
oh
our O
my
line
God.
coach.
Oh my
Shout
gosh.
out our boy. But like, he might have saved Brewer. He definitely saved Murphy's health, but he might have saved Brewer's face in some of them games because
Big
there were
time.
some times if our O line play was just a hair worse, we would have lost by 2 or 3 scores.
Yeah, big time.
So shout out our O lineman. We've said it all year. You guys proved the entire community wrong. Every single one of them boys. I mean, we had an All American, we had a lot of All ACCs, and they earned it. So shout out the Hogs.
Big time. I mean, we couldn't even play a real spring game because we just didn't even have the sheer number of
We
offensive
had
line.
7.
We played like a like 5-on-5 flag football spring football game. It was crazy. Manny goes to the portal and just pulls dudes out of thin air from all over the
Caleb
place
Creams.
in the off season over the summer. Like some of these dudes like were meeting their teammates for the first time in fall camp. It was just nutty. And it worked. A shoestring O line, whereas like they were dogs in the passing game. It's
Dude, their
rarely do
pass
you see an
blocking. Bruno
offensive line,
Fino is one of the best left tackles Duke's ever had in pass pro. And that says something. Like, that motherfucker can pass block to save his life.
and that's rarely do you see an offensive line that's better in the passing game than it is in the running game, but that's so Duke. Like
That's
we
so
had it.
Duke.
I mean, aside from Star Thomas's legacy run between like week 3 and week 5, I mean, where were you for Star Thomas in September?
Reggie
Uh,
Bush, Star Thomas.
I think the greatest thing that Star Thomas can ever put on his resume is during the Carolina game in like the fourth quarter when Duke was chasing down the lead. And one of the broadcasters said, yeah, I know Omarion Hampton is a dog, but Star Thomas has been the best back in this game. That hang the banner.
Hang the
That's
banner.
that's on the resume
That's
forever.
such a Duke win right there.
Oh my God. Anyway, yeah. Where were we? Offensive line.
Mensah just talking about, yeah, I mean, Mensah, guys, go watch the tape. He's not going to be super explosive running the football, but he is more mobile. There's a difference there. He's
Yeah,
not a run first quarterback. He's not a scramble quarterback. He is a mobile quarterback that will move the pocket and still throw the football. And if nothing's available after those options, then he takes off and run. That's what a good quarterback should do. That's what every quarterback that's in the Hall of Fame that's not just a straight up pocket passer does.
correct.
So
He's
yeah,
not he's not a run first quarterback. He can run when he has to.
yeah, and he won't scramble out of the pocket and take off running instantly. He'll scramble out of the pocket, then look up field to see if corners or safeties have came off their guys, and then air it out. He scored a lot of touchdowns at Tulane this year doing that exact football play right there.
Correct. And Duke fans being Duke fans, like as soon as his commitment was announced, we already had people, his rushing stats don't look that great
I
to
swear
me.
to fucking God, dude,
Dude,
Riley Leonard has ruined this football
he's done a
program.
number.
He doesn't even know, like, he thinks he did so much good for Duke, but I'm here to tell him how much he's ruined the football program. We
Yeah.
ought to just run the Wildcat every play. You can't make nobody happy
I
unless
was
your quarterback rushes for 2,000 yards,
yeah, I was talking to the mother of a certain former Duke offensive lineman who's now in the NFL, who I will not name names, but we were talking about Riley Leonard and how good of a guy he is. No one can ever say that. He's as good a guy as they come. We love him as a person. But I said, my God, Riley Leonard has done irreparable damage to this fan base when it comes to what they expect from quarterbacks. It's incredible.
And it's
Man,
not like they're expecting some sort of really high level, great quarterback play.
they just want to see him take off with it every play.
They're just like, why do we not have QB draw design runs anymore?
Oh,
I'm
dear
gonna have a
God.
stroke. He didn't run the football even though he had four receivers open. Uh,
But yeah, so excited about Mensa. And then which by the way, let's get into actually no, we'll get into this in a minute. So what is it? Maalik announced his transfer portal entry Monday night. Tuesday, the news breaks that Mensa is going to be visiting the campus. Grayson Loftis. Well, so we're all like, all right, Maalik's in the portal. We're all Maalik's in the portal, Maalik's in the portal. We're all changing our profile pictures to Grayson. It's like, all right, it's Grayson's time to prove all the Duke football Facebook fans right when they've been calling for Grayson all season. This is his chance to prove them right and have a Grayson Loftus legacy game against Ole Miss. News breaks that Darian Mensah is on campus. He's visiting. Grayson Loftus goes and retweets the tweet from On Three about that. We're like, oh shit,
it was
here we go.
Jover when that happened. It was
Uh,
over.
Lunchtime on like Tuesday, Grayson Loftus news breaks that uh Grayson is entering the transfer portal. On Three confirms it around 1 or 2 o'clock on Tuesday. We're like, oh, of course. What else could go wrong? We're just like, what is going on, dude? So, we're pretty
Now
bummed.
there was one person who was actively happy about it. This guy. There was one guy who never gave him his flowers. Didn't want him.
The
Didn't
floor,
want him
the
to start.
floor, the floor is Noah's. This is your time. Let's
I'm
hear it.
gonna, ladies and gentlemen, we have goddamn whitewashed ourselves into believing that Grayson Loftus is a power forward quarterback. He's not. He's not. He's a group of five player. His offers out of high school show you he's a G5 player because Duke is like the only power four involved. Duke has been that way for the longest time. You know what I mean? He's a backup quarterback at the power four level. Everybody's like, but he came in last year at North Carolina. We lost against North Carolina. We lost against Virginia. We damn near lost against Troy. I was never moved.
We damn near lost against Wake
Carolina,
Forest too.
yeah, Carolina, yeah, we almost got walked off. Thank God Todd Polino's one ever night game where he was like Derek Cheater and like clutch. You know what I mean? He was like, we're going to do this. But every other night, we're not going to get into that. But Todd, we got your back, but we got to fix it under the lights. Grayson Loftus did not impress anybody in the country except Facebook Duke fans. He was not on any sort of preseason watch list for a reason. He was not talked about in conference play for a reason. He's not talked about on any other pods for a reason. Um, and Duke fans, as soon as Murphy was gone, it was almost like some of them were excited
Oh, you should have
because
seen the comments in the
they
Facebook groups when Murphy was gone.
they felt validated that they thought they were right about him the whole time. They were like, we never needed that SEC guy Maalik Murphy when we could have had good old cornbread eating Hot roast loving boy from
Bible
Gaffney's
thumping,
son.
God fearing,
Yeah.
Trump loving Grayson
Fucking
Loftis.
Gaffney's finest, and like, listen, I'm all about just being who you are, but I just making somebody and not having like any objective reasoning as to why you think they're a better quarterback, other than not going to say it, but
Not gonna say it.
obvious, yeah. Um, I can't get behind that. And I was like, we don't need Loftus in the Gator Bowl. We're gonna get smoked actively in the group chat. And people like we had somebody that are getting real frustrated at it, and they're like, you guys just don't want Loftus, blah blah blah. It's like I don't, because I don't think he's a great quarterback. I also don't think he's the best teammate in the world because of how he's handled like some adversity that's been presented his way. I think following Mike Elko on social media, but not Manny Diaz, like as small as that seems, like you're a
It
pussy.
speaks volumes. And
Yeah,
let's get
like
into that real quick. So obviously, the members of the Loftus camp all season, in the Facebook groups, liking negative comments about Murphy, liking comments calling for Loftus, whatever, like real like Pop Warner type shit. But whatever, it's not the worst thing in the world. However, and I saw comments about this before the season even started. People like on Instagram, whatever, say, "Oh man, like Murphy took Loftus's job. Like they're taking Loftus's job and giving it." It was never Loftus's job. Loftus came in because Riley Leonard and Henry Beelan both got hurt last year. He came in because he was the only guy we had. It was never his starting job. If Riley Leonard had stayed at Duke, Riley Leonard would have been the starting guy again this year because it was his job. So, you know, I was grateful for what Loftus did for us. He did his job last season by coming in for Henry and Riley when they both got hurt, but the starting job was never his. Um, however, yeah, so Loftus enters a transfer portal. We're like, oh fuck, like it's Henry Beelan's season, whatever. Like, do we even know if Henry's healthy? Because those of you who follow Duke football closely enough know that the last two
Henry had the
years
craziest injury ever.
it was like we thought it was a torn labrum. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. There's nothing specific. All we know is that it was a thing that was continuously bothering him. Like he was hurt for the state game when he started last year. He was hurt for the FSU game when he got thrust into action. He was hurt pretty much all last season and this off season.
Yeah, they said
So
he didn't throw like a football all camp. Like
yeah,
that kind of hurt. Because they also said something in his injury. Because I know it said like his frontal shoulder, and then that one report from Duke, it's like something in his like the back part of your shoulder. And like the more I thought about that, the more I thought that if this back here was torn, just how awful that would
would
be
you
in
bring your arm up to like
comparison,
throw it? Oh,
or any amount, like just leaning forward. And I'm like, dude, I'm all them reports just talking about like how much of a freak injury it was, just like I think due to what tore and how it tore. Like that's rough for anybody to come back from. And
yeah.
like if we got the word that Belen's clear, he's a
Beelan's the
clear
guy.
bill of health.
He's
He's
the
a
guy.
clear bill of health. He's
Well, not,
fine to throw the football. I mean,
he's ready to
that
go.
yeah, that came from a player parent on a 247 message board as well, who that everybody on 247, like when he says something,
You listen.
you listen because he's a goat.
Well, here's the thing. Before we get into Beelan, because we will get into Beelan, here's an interesting nugget. We're talking about 247
Mm-hmm.
boards.
Mm-hmm.
Reports came out from a very reliable source. We're not going
Same
to name
parent.
names. We're not going to name names.
Well, I
Reports
didn't name him.
were names. It comes out. Grayson enters. I don't know if this what's happened first, the chicken or the egg, but Grayson enters the portal. Word on the street: Grayson Loftus was offered. We're not going to say the exact dollar amount, but let's say that Grayson Loftus was offered an amount of money that could buy him a new car off the lot in cash to play the bowl game. Grayson Loftus turned that down. Grayson Loftus is so pissed at Manny Diaz, is so pissed at Duke, has his mom in his ear so bad that he's turning down tens of thousands of dollars, the opportunity to get tape against Ole Miss in the fucking Gator Bowl to get his name out there. He's so pissed at Duke. He's throwing all of that away to leave Duke in a lurch. Like, so this dude basically comes onto it. This dude hates Duke so much that he wants his tape in the transfer portal to be his bad performance from the Birmingham Bowl last season. He's okay with the idea of that being his tape going into the transfer portal.
Yeah, if Duke would have paid him more than $5 to play in that game, I think I would have canceled my season tickets. I wouldn't fucking put that fucker behind center for any X amount of dollars. Um, I don't think this is kind of funny. I'm just gonna say it, but like, I don't think he likes Manny Diaz because I think he's got this like whole persona that like people are out to get him. And because I think he was the golden boy in Gaffney, the best thing since sliced bread.
Oh
And he
yeah.
shows up to Duke. He shows up to Duke with that same mentality, and he's not. And I think that, so you start building up that, you're putting up a wall almost. You're like, everybody's out to get me, and nobody thinks I can do it and all this, that. When truly it's just your talent and your ability to play the game because Duke's not 9-3 this year with Grayson Loftis at quarterback. And if anybody wants to argue that, I will do it till I die. I don't think anybody with any common sense, which is most of the people that listen to this podcast, believe that. So, Loftus, congrats on getting game film against Troy in a narrow victory and a loss against Virginia and a loss against UNC and an almost loss against Wake. I can't wait for Conway community to get a hold of that. I'm not gonna harp on it much anymore. I've said my piece. I feel good about it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, just bottom line, I mean, like you were talking about being, hot shit coming from Gaffney. Like you see, even last season when he was playing, like any tweet, like, yeah, fucking Loftus, he's the man, finally getting a shot. You go to those Twitter bios and they're all from Gaffney. You look in the Facebook group and you look at the people like shit talking Murphy the loudest,
Yeah,
they're all
it's
from
not even
Gaffney.
Duke. That's not even Duke fans. They just
Yeah,
joined for Grayson
yeah, you
Loftus.
see like, people liking his mom's comments, people commenting saying, I'm glad Murphy's gone. Like you click the profile and it's some lady wearing her fucking 2017 Lily Pulitzer dress from Gaffney, South Carolina, right?
Yeah,
Like
from
it's
the from the Tanger outlets that she got on an 85% sell
yeah,
rack.
literally. It's like okay, he's got his crew. Nothing wrong with having supporters, but you see, he's got his camp telling him he's the greatest and that he's being done dirty when it's a business. It's a business. All right.
Yeah, it ain't nothing but a business.
Anyway, now that that's out of the way. So Maalik's gone, Grayson's gone. We get Darian Mensah. He can't play the bowl game because he's not eligible yet because he can't roll until the spring. It's on the shoulders, the healed shoulders of number three, King Henry Beelan the fourth.
Let's go.
So here's some stuff about Henry Beelan. We have very little film on him because he hasn't seen a whole lot of action and he hasn't seen any action healthy that we know of. But our friend Bobby told us about being at the Military Bowl 2 years ago, talking to Duke offensive lineman. What was it? Chance Littell? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
He was like, so what do you think the future of Duke football looks like? He's like, the only thing that guy would talk about was Henry Beelan. That's all he would talk about. Here's the thing about Henry Beelan. From what, people who are at practices talk about, when he's healthy, he's fast.
He can sling it.
He can sling the ball 50, 60 yards from his knees, like Jamarcus Russell style. I mean, he's almost like Maalik Murphy, just with wheels and maybe some better decision making.
A little bit wider in weight, not as strong, but definitely can move a little bit better, like
Correct.
a pretty good, like, and high IQ football player too.
And that's the thing, like, dude, we were talking about, with Brewer's system, and the way he wants to operate things. A quarterback like Henry Beelan, it sounds like the exact kind of guy he's looking for and wants behind center in his system. So, I mean, it kind of sucks that the first time we're gonna get to see a healthy Henry Beelan is against Ole Miss in the Gator Bowl. He's definitely gonna get. I don't expect him to have a legacy game, but I am excited to see Henry fully healthy and in a
Watch him
system that
just
sounds like it's gonna fit.
watch him just fling it like 28 of 32 for like 357 and three touchdowns. That'd be ridiculous.
That'd be crazy
I
because
would cry. Everbank Stadium, I'm going to cry inside of you if Duke wins this football game. I promise you that much.
and we know how good the defensive line is for Ole Miss, so I don't expect like pretty much every game this year, I don't expect the run game to be a huge factor, unfortunately. So
We might get 8 yards.
it's gonna have to, Star Thomas is gonna go like 17 carries for like 27 yards type of thing. But and that's not really speaking bad on Star
No,
at all. It's
Star's a
just
dog.
our
We hope he
running
gets
game
that
is just not
waiver.
that good. Um, so it's gonna have to be on the again healed, healthy shoulders of Henry Beelan the fourth, King Henry. You might have seen if you're on Twitter this week, I tweeted and I encouraged that Duke fans go and change their profile picture to Henry Beelan to show our support for our guy. A lot of you did it, so thank you to everyone who followed and joined in. Um, as far as predictions for the bowl game goes, I don't really have a whole lot to talk about in terms of like stats, predictions, money lines, anything like that. You got anything you want to cover, Noah?
I think we'll just save that for kind of the one right before the bowl.
Yeah, good call.
But I mean, the Gator guys, yet again, it's really important that Duke's playing in that game. We urge you to go return all your kids' Christmas gifts and use that money to go to the bowl game, as it's way more important than Christmas. Obviously, Duke football playing in January, you're probably more likely to get struck by lightning than see that happen. I don't. I actually probably want to go do the math on that now since we've done it twice. Well, technically twice now, but yeah, it's something that doesn't happen too often. I think that's going to change now for the foreseeable future, but we need to enjoy it as Duke football fans and soak it all in, have a really good time, enjoy it regardless of outcome. And if Duke wins, we need to rage. I want the SEC to know. Oh, Sankey. I want old Sankey to know.
Yeah, Duke football's here to stay. And as far as talking about tickets, as of right now, you still can go to, we urge you to not go to StubHub, don't go to Ticketmaster or anything like that. Go to Duke's official website, go to their ticket site, buy tickets for the bowl game there. It's $87 for a ticket. That includes fees. You will be automatically put in what we call the Duke sections on the Duke sideline in the lower bowl. So you're gonna have a good seat with the other Duke fans. We need everyone to go and get their tickets. Jacksonville's not that far of a drive. Fortunately,
It's
lodging
five
isn't.
and a half hours from Charlotte, guys. That's
Yeah.
5 hours. That's like driving from where my hometown was to Raleigh back in the day.
Yeah, it's like 6.5 from the triangle where Durham is, so it's not that bad at all. So yeah, and again, lodging is pretty affordable, whether you want to go the Airbnb route, you want to go the Embassy Suites route, or if you want to go full scumbag and do
Red
the
Roof
yeah,
Inn.
Red Roof Inn, Best Western Plus, Super 8, whatever you
Hey,
want to
I
do.
ain't knocking nobody that wants to save a dollar.
Not at all. Not at all. Whatever you want to do. But again, lodging is not that expensive. We want to see you guys down there we're gonna be coming down there early on New Year's Eve. We're gonna spend New Year's Eve, our camp in Jacksonville. We're gonna rage.
Hell, we're gonna race so hard on NYE.
Again, like we mentioned, one of our buddies, Zach, who works for the Duke program, is from there. So he's gonna get us, a list of good restaurants and like bars and places to hit, good places to stay. So we'll try to relay that and get that out to you guys for anyone who's looking for stuff to do in town. We'll post some updates, where our whereabouts, everything. As far as the tire for the game, just wear Duke blue and white. That's all we can say. Me and some of the guys are planning on wearing some of those. You've probably seen them, the frat boy douchebag, like the pinstripe overalls. Some of us, I don't know if no, are you partaking in that?
I'm not. I mean, I have a pair of App State ones. Like I've worn them many of times back in the day, but no, I'm not gonna cover all just because I'm a shorts. I'm gonna be in shorts and t-shirt mode so hard. As soon as that Florida sun hits me,
That's fair. That's a fair play. I order my game bibs, the blue and white stripe overalls, and we'll have like face paint, whatever. We
oh
got
yeah,
our
we're face
official
painting for sure.
Duke Pit Vipers. Definitely ordered those. We'll drop the links on the page for anyone who wants to see those. But yeah, please come down to Jacksonville. We're gonna rage. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna make it count. This is the best, by far, the best bowl game that Duke has been in the last 60 plus years. Um, that lies on the shoulders of King Henry Beelan the fourth. We got faith in you, buddy.
We
Uh,
believe.
we believe. Anything else you want to dig into here?
Not particular. I think we kind of nailed what everybody here is gonna wanna listen to about what's happened this week.
Yeah, it's been a nice Tide pod, probably 35, 40 minutes or so, give or take. Um, but yeah, we'll get this uploaded probably later today. If you made it to the end, thanks for listening. Make sure you give us a like and a comment on the YouTube channel, retweet the tweet, listen on Spotify, et cetera, et cetera.
Shout out Tim Gonzalez.
Yeah, shout out our buddy Tim. Tim, if you're watching this, let us know we're eating at dinner tonight, buddy.
Eli
Uh,
stole my food.
yeah, he stole my food. Uh, yeah,
Duke Duke motherfuckers.
yeah. We'll see y'all next week or whenever. I don't know. Peace.